How's it going, gang? Nathan here with a quick talk on Smogon's single most misunderstood feature, the chat. It's something we see in every game we play. We've probably all gotten flamed in at one point or another, but not something that I think people really take to full advantage. And that's something I'm hoping to correct or at least change a little bit with this quick video. So first things first, commands. Myself and other Showdown creators have talked about this before, but if you're looking to learn about competitive Pokemon, the command functions available in the chat are really powerful and incredibly useful. There's a lot of different command functions on Showdowns that I could run through, but I'm gonna give a quick breakdown on all my favorites. First things first, it's gonna be /weak and /coverage. So type matchups in Pokemon are super hard to learn and generally pretty obtuse, but if you're like me and can't quite get your head around them, you can always use these commands. So if you type /weak Dragonite into any chat, for example, Showdown will list out for you all the Pokemon's type matchups, which is super handy to have at a glance and saves you from Googling a type chart. But also handy and lesser used is the coverage command. So again, if you're a new player and you go, wait, what the hell? How did that Alolan Ninetales hit my Milotic super effectively with an ice move? That makes no sense. You can just type the /coverage freeze dry instead, and it will tell you all the types that move hits super effectively. Definitely a handy one. In a similar vein, probably my most used command is /DT, which gives all relevant data on whatever you type in, like an ability, Pokemon, move, or even item. So wait a second, you might go, I just knocked a light ball off Pikachu. What does that do? I've never heard of that one before. Okay, so, that's neat. Next up is the /invite only command. This one is well known as mod join plus by a lot of Showdown YouTubers for kind of obvious reasons. But if your opponent ever has friends enter a battle and are acting annoying or whatever, you can just type this in really quick and all non-players will A, be unable to access the room once it becomes private, and B, become muted. Also similar though is the /IO next, which stands for invite only next, which can be helpful if you suspect somebody is counter teaming you or sniping you or whatever, just doing anything to ladder in such a way to counter team you. If you use this, your matches will become private going forward and no one will be able to join them. This next one, if you're ever learning a new metagame and you're not really sure what you're up against in a new matchup, I'm going to recommend the /analysis command, which will link you to the Smogon analysis page. This is admittedly more useful on older, more established metagames where they've had time to fill out full articles on some of these Pokemon, but you are still likely to get their most common established matchups and even the most modern metagames and get an idea of what you're up against. But as much as I enjoy these commands and think they're useful, my true intention for this video was actually much more literal. If you think about your average interactions with people on Pokemon Showdown, I guarantee 90% of what you think of is pretty rough, negative stuff. The kind of things you'd expect to find in an all caps, salty Showdown player rage compilation or something like that. But in all honesty, if it wasn't for the positive interactions that I've had with many people in the Showdown community, I wouldn't be here right now making videos. Not only have I actually managed to make friends through Showdown, but when I think about some of my earliest moments of learning Showdown several years ago, it was when I was frustrated by something, didn't know what to do, and just politely asked my opponent for advice. It might seem weird to ask the person kicking your ass for help, but it's kind of a culture thing is how I think of it, because speaking as a fighting game player too, the most established way to get better, and it's very common, is you go to a tournament, you get your ass beat, you ask the better player what they'd recommend you do to improve. In fact, in order to prove this point, before I record this video, I randomly created an alt account on Pokemon Showdown. I started playing a bunch of Mono Fire, and every time I'd lose, I'd ask my opponent for advice and what they think I could have done better. Of those 8 games I lost, 3 said nothing and dipped, no harm, no foul there. 1 person said, damn dude, I don't know. And the 5 remaining stayed in the chat with me and offered their 2 cents. In fact, let me take you through some of them right now. I'll do this, and I'll move this to the side here. Ooh, I might have to shrink me. Here we go. Okay, so I would randomly hit people up every time I lost, and I would say something to the effect of this one. I went, do you have any advice what I could have done to do better? They say, I think if you had roost on Volcarona, you would have won. But don't take advice from me, friend. Kind of modest there. Go, true. Anything I could have done to stop Dragapult from setting up? I guess send Cinderace in sooner. And they go, it's just bound to happen when Dragapult sets up on a weak Mon. Maybe it could have bulked up there, I suggested. They went, you know what? That would have been the play. So little positive interaction. They say, okay, good job. Good luck next. Here on this one, I'm going to go through all of them in depth, but I said, man, good job on that sweep there. And they said, yeah, you should have kept your Torkoal healthy. I had a bit of hacks on the Pyro Ball. Would have been different without that miss there. Not too much advice there, but still pretty positive interactions, all things considered. On this one, I go, you destroyed me. It would have been any advice what I could have done differently. And they said, that high jump kick you went for on the Mammoth Swine or Steelix was pretty obvious. I really baited you there by going to my ghost type on the high jump kick. Good one. And they said maybe you could have tried going to neutral hit there. It still would have killed after the bulk up, and the Pyro Ball also makes sense there. This one, they gave me all kinds of advice. We had this great talk about what was it on this one? Their Hitmontop destroyed me in this game. It was really cool. It had a Rock Slide and Sucker Punch and Rapid Spin and destroyed me. And I said, any advice? And they go, sack it off the Blacephalon situation. You have a clean switch to Ace. Ace was your key to win that matchup. The Spadef on Hitmontop is kind of outweighed by the defense that you could beat it with the Cinderace. So we had this whole chat here, really useful. And then last but not least, I asked on this one, I said, crush me there. Anybody's could have done to win. And they go, you did great. So first of all, like pumping me up there. That's great. And they go, oh, you switched to heat ran too early there. The balloon was a key part of beating the mono rock matchup. You should have done that there. So nothing huge or instrumental, but definitely important advice there. This is way better and way more helpful than the Pokemon Showdown reputation would have you believe. Again, when I was just learning the ropes of Showdown early on in the black and white ladder, I remember running into the same few players over and over again and getting crushed by them. And it got to the point where I was at such a loss for what to do that just to ask them what they think I should have done better. And I was lucky enough that a lot of those people were really, really nice and took me under their wing. They gave me teams to use. And one person in particular, remember, took like a half hour of their time to explain and demonstrate for me the value of spikes on Ferrothorn to control the pace of the match. And every time I'd run into them, they'd be like, oh, that was good, but you should be doing this here instead, and da-da-da. And we had this kind of like mentor-student relationship where they really helped me develop. It was awesome. And again, in my opinion, completely instrumental to my development of learning on the ladder. I'm not sure that's going to happen for everybody, of course, but the idea of just reaching out, I think, is something that we don't do enough. I mean, even beyond these chats, I'm sure if you're ever stuck on a matchup or have a question in literally any tier, if you were to just hop into the corresponding chat room on the right and ask the people there, you have good odds of getting a few answers. So really just a quick piece of advice to you guys to remember that on the other side of these matches you're playing is a whole other person. Sure, sometimes you're gonna get the odd clown or troll when you hit them up and they might flame you or something like that, but I've got to say that almost all of the best learning moments that I have had on Pokemon Showdown have been through chatting with others randomly like this, and I hope that some of you will be willing to give it a try. But that's all for me today. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.